Today we are going to be studying some Bart Sears and we're going to be studying anatomy. So I'm looking at this book. I recently started studying this book called Drawing Powerful Heroes. And the book is, kind of all about like anatomy, perspective, and like some of the basics that you need to learn if you are becoming an artist or you're like learning the art fundamentals, right? Some basic notes that you sort of need to learn and some basic practices that would help you when you're starting out as an artist studying anatomy. But I wouldn't necessarily look at the book as the first thing to use, the first material to use to study. I would more likely look at the book like an assist, right? After you've done the basic studies, I'll look at it as an assist. So like you learn the fundamentals first and then you look at this book and it aids you when you are drawing, right? So that it's like an extra tip. Hello Irene, how you doing? Hello Imagination. Hey yo, bro. What's up, buddy? Missed you, man. Hell yeah. Hope you're doing well, Arim. I hope the drawing, practice and the drawing sessions are good. Uh, Hello, imagination, man. How you doing? I hope you're all having a good day. So, I started this book with, I started, practicing. He started with what they call the nine-headed method, like which is this method over here. Like you sort of use nine heads to, get the right proportions of a character or whatever figure you're drawing, right? So it's I practiced it and it was quite useful. It was quite helpful. He also brought this sort of egg style method that I can use to judge the right proportions of various parts of the body, like where the hand should end, like if a man is standing straight, like the location of the hips, how wide the shoulder should be, how many heads the shoulder actually is. Yeah, so little facts like that. Yeah, that's I found the exercise quite helpful, and that's what I used for my study. And I also practiced it with like sort of what how I would normally draw a person, like without necessarily using all all these extra tricks. Let me show you. There was one he did where he was moving mad. Yeah, something like this, because this is quite chaotic and this can be, you know, crazy confusing most of the time. So, but it's really helpful. It's really helpful. So it shows the shoulder line, the waistline, the hip line, and the top of the knee line, and then the ground line. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be studying. That's not necessarily what we're going to be studying. What we're going to be looking at is the rest of the torso. Um, yeah, so we're going to be studying something like this, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I'm doing good. I guess you liked Sephiroth drawing that I shared today. I saw your comments. Thank you, really. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm hoping to see more drawings from you, by the way. Hoping to see more drawings. Yeah, so guys, apparently I don't know what's up with my phone or my YouTube or like YouTube in general. YouTube is moving mad, so I basically have to be performing some sort of I have to be kissing my phone practically for me for people to hear me whenever I'm speaking. Um like my tongue virtually has to be all over my phone whenever I'm walking, so it makes it a bit more tedious for me to draw and speak at the same time. Yeah, so my hand is right over here and then my mouth is like way like next to my phone, because I actually zoomed out, so I'm quite far away from my screen, so it's quite annoying. YouTube is such a disappointment, bro. Yeah. I mean, and YouTube is like I rate YouTube very highly. But I honestly don't know what's wrong because I tried updating, like because I don't want to ever update because I don't see what's wrong with the current operating system or the current phone that I need to update it, because I just see it as a scam. Yeah. Updating your phone is a scam. Yeah, updating your system, in my opinion, is a scam a lot of the time, because they just keep updating it. You update it to the version, like to the next update you are doing. It actually suits the new version of phone that they are producing. So you keep updating to the point where the new update doesn't function with your phone, and you can't like take your phone back to the previous update. Then you now have to get a new phone, or you have to get like a new laptop or something like that. And um, average citizens can't always afford a new phone. Anyways, apologies for that rant, but it pisses me off a lot of the time. So yeah, like I can't really speak freely, but I want to do this stream, so I'm just going to try and make it work. Anyways, well, this sort of like what we're going to be looking at is just going to be looking at a simple shape. This is a study I've done over and over again. And if you guys like this type of study videos where we look at a book together or something, I'll probably do it. I'll probably do more of it. Um, but essentially, what we're going to be talking about is this, and we're going to be doing the practices here. So it says, it's talking about the torso. It says, the torso is the heart of any good figure drawing. For a superhero pose or like a figure drawing, not everybody wants to be a comic book artist. I get that. The torso has to appear strong and muscular, yet flexible enough to twist that hero out of the way, even even the most lethal from even the most lethal death blast. Right now, let's take a look at the heroic male torso. So what he then did here is that he then broke the male torso into a simple shape. And there's the thing I usually tell everyone is that usually comes to ask me about like how to get better at drawing in general. I usually talk about using simple shapes. I usually talk about using simple shapes to break down complex forms. He said, "You talk fast today, bro. What the hell?" Yeah, I can talk a bit faster whenever I'm like trying to explain a point. But it's not that fast. I don't talk that fast though. Yeah, I'm trying to explain the point. That's sort of why I'm speaking faster. Uh, yeah, usually when I start drawing, you're going to see that some of my brain cells are going to be going towards like my dexterity. So the way I talk and communicate is going to be a lot slower, and a lot my audibility will be reduced. So uh, enjoy it while it's here. Anyways, so yeah, simple shapes to explain or express complex forms. So that's why, whenever you're looking at a form, when they say simple shapes, so we're talking circles. I'm going to keep saying this to the day I die, because there are people that don't get it, and I'm always happy to teach. Simple shapes, I'm talking about circles, I'm talking about squares. Hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. Squares or cubes. Yeah, squares or cubes. This is a cube. Is that a cube? Yeah, that's a cube. And cones as well. Yeah, and then cylinders. If you're learning anatomy, you need to learn this first before you then learn the anatomical parts. Before you then learn the anatomical parts. Anyways, with regards to circles, the reason why I say simple shapes is because most of these shapes, you can use them to break down the form that you're looking at. So, for instance, you could look at this sphere or circle or ovoid shape, and this sphere could represent a head, a person's head. Yeah. So we have the eyeballs over here. Yeah. That's what it could represent. This circle could represent a person's deltoid muscle. Yeah. It could represent a person's deltoid muscle. Yeah. It could also represent a rib cage. We'll have our sternum over here, and then we'll have our clavicle or collarbone over here, right? Or torso. Yeah. So, like, essentially, we've gotten our torso with a simple shape like this. And just this simple shape, we could be getting the torso in the front view, and the side view, like this. Yeah, something like this. So this is our rib cage, by the way. By the way, the rib cage on the side view is actually like this. Yeah, that's how the human body looks. There's actually like a bit of counterbalance. There's a bit of counterbalance when you look at the human body. So this is our rib cage, and then this is our stomach, and then you see the pubic area over here, and this is how a human body actually looks, because the spine is curved like this. The spine is not straight. The human back is not straight like this. It's curved like this. So you can see how I just used a simple shape. I used a box, or you could use, a square, whatever, or rectangle. And then I was able to break down this pose. Yeah. So that is entirely the gist for this. Very important you understand that whenever you're drawing. Say, so funny. Eminem Apex Art is crazy. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, so that's essentially what we're going to do. But you have to sort of, keep this in mind when you're walking, because it's very helpful, and it's what has helped me. So we're going to do some torso because I want to draw some muscles. I like doing these studies. I like breaking down these muscles. Um, I won't always use a box. Sometimes I'll use a circle or a sphere. And you can see how he's using a cylinder, right, for the arms. See how he's using a cylinder for the arms? Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And the way he approaches it is he uses a lot of bubbles, which is more gestural than structural, because the gestural gives room for mistakes and allows you to be more fluid and imaginative whenever you're drawing a pose. Yeah, so let's get to it. You can draw with me, or you could just pay attention and listen to me yap. Hello, Pro. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's been a while, man. Almost like a week or two. I don't remember. But anyways, welcome to the stream, man. So let's break this down. I'm going to break this down. This cylinder is going to represent the neck, and then we're going to use like a cube or like a box to represent the shoulder and the rest of the torso, essentially. So something very simple like this. And he was kind enough to put a cross. This is going to represent the chest or the pectoralis muscles, and then the bottom part, of course. Of course, he made it a bit slimmer, but yeah, that's because it represents the pelvis. And then he made it a bit what's the shape? Forgotten. Anyways, yeah, we have this shape. So and then he has like a cylinder shape over here like this. What am I drawing? I'm drawing a torso. I'm studying Bart Sears' book. I'm doing a breakdown, not necessarily a breakdown, because I'm also learning in the process. I'm going through his book. I figured out that I had virtually no time in the day to like study his book, and I really want to study his book. And I have a lot of other books that I want to study so bad, but I can't study it because I'm working and I have to work on my comic as well, and I have to make content. So these three things take a lot of my time, um, and I still need to learn and improve as an artist. So I just decided to do that live. Yeah, so some days I might do a study, I might go through a book, or I might do a study of another artist, or I might, work on my comic book. So I think it's nice to have variety. So today, this is what we're doing. Yeah, anyways, so we have our basic shapes. Yeah. And then what we're going to do next is that we're going to try and make it look like this. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is for you, you could, use a little bit of eraser, kneaded eraser, to just draw that on top. But for me, I'm just going to keep it to the side over here. Yeah, anyways, I just erased it a bit. Hopefully you can still see it. And I'm going to do some of those gestural stuff. That's cool. I'm glad you can manage your time in a creative and enjoyable way. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I suck at time management, but I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying. Hmm. Hello, Wheezy, man. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah. Anyway, so moving to the neck. Yeah, I think this brush is too. What's the word? The brush is too. It's too something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so we have our traps over here. Usually, I could just use this shape to represent the traps. Yeah, because the traps actually is majorly a back muscle. I mean, you can see it from the front, but it's majorly a back muscle. Yeah, majorly a back muscle. Oh yeah, John, I think I understand what opposite truly means. What are you talking about? Yeah, anyways, so the neck, right? We're drawing a muscular character, so we're going to have to put the you can try this is bubbly technique where he just used a lot of circles. So I'm going to try and stay true to that and not just work on my own intentions or my own technique so that we're actually trying to learn over here. So I'm using this to sort of represent the sternocleidomastoid or the neck muscle, right, that he has. It's quite big, yeah. And then we have trapezius muscle, trapezoid, whatever the hell the name is. Yeah, so we have our chest over here. The chest usually overlaps the, what do they call it? The deltoid muscle. Yeah, so that's what we did here. Like, just add a little napper. Am I teaching? Not necessarily teaching. I would say it's both. I'm both teaching and learning at the same time because I don't know. I've not gone through this book. I've not gone through every aspect of the book. So I'm just also doing the studies that are in the book so that I can learn and get better as well. So I might read some of the extracts from the book and try to interpret it in a way that I understand. And if I don't, if someone knows better than me in the comment section or like in the chat, they can of course make an input. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Oh, by the way, I need to increase this. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, so yeah, bubbly muscles. Yeah, to represent what we are trying to study gesturally. Yeah, so the next thing is this is our lats. So shape is very important. You can see when I was studying, what's his name? Jorge Jimenez art. You could see there was like usually defined shapes or defined silhouettes. It's really good to understand the silhouette of what you're drawing, the shape and the muscles that make up that silhouette. Is very helpful. So what that muscle over here, these guys over here that makes the V shape, or what do they call them? Some for some people, for some like extreme bodybuilders, it's a Y shape. Um, but that shape generally, it's called the lats, the latissimus dorsi. Yeah. So over here is our obliques, external obliques rather. And then from here all the way, like just from the pecs, yeah, all the way down is our, what do you call them? rectus abdominis or abs, yeah, or loaf of bread, depending on how yours looks. And it's four in number. So, but the way he did it, so we could just staying true to his style, we could just do it like this: one, two, three, and four. Yeah, like that. And then, of course, here we have our serratus anterior or our saw-like muscle. Ideally, I would draw it like this because that is, anatomically speaking, that is how it looks. Um, it could be the knots, but that's only when you give requirements to the difference from the sub. Wait, what are you guys talking about? Am I missing something? Honestly, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to keep yapping. Yeah. So like we have our serratus muscle over there. Ideally, this should the lats, this provision for the lats should be obvious like that. Yeah. And then anterior like this. Yeah. So yeah, but with this basic shape, we've been able to work on this, right? Very simply. Yeah. And this side, it will lead to the pelvis, and we're not going to be talking about that yet. Yeah, but this is all. Like, most people's own are very big. Like mine is very big in terms of this area. The love handles. Yeah. When you eat a lot of bread or a lot of carbs, your love handles are going to be flapping up about. Yeah. So that's it. And of course, this is part of the torso. The deltoid is part of the torso. So the front delts and the side delts are going to be visible. So, and that is how you draw the front view of a male torso. As simple as that, as easy as that. Yeah. Yeah. And what's next? What do you talk about next? Oh yeah, next he detailed it. Yeah, he detailed it with an inking style. Hmm. All right, let's try and do that. Let's do that. I mean, we're studying, so why not? Right? Let's look at the transformation from one level to the next. Yeah, so I'm going to reduce the opacity over here. I think I might refine the sketch a bit more, to be fair. Um, I might do that. All right. So most of the time, people get confused about like most of the time people get confused about the abs or the rectus abdominis, how it looks. Because of all this, sometimes this can trick people because most people, um, it's how would I call it now? Anatomically, yeah, the rectus abdominis is like 8, right? Like if you look at this guy, for instance, now I believe this was drawn from a real 3D model from a real 3D person. His abs are actually 8, like they're in two columns and eight and four rows. Yeah. So we have one, two, three, four. Right. One, two, three, four. Right. Let me zoom in a bit more so you can see this. One, two, three, four. Yeah. And then they are then parted with. They are then parted. Most of the times, what the abs that are usually visible are just one, two, three. These three abs here are usually what's visible. For most people, it's two, depending on your body fat percentage, right? So, with regards to what he did here, chim. With regards to what he did here, he had the abs. He did like, instead of doing four, I think he did five. One, two, three, four, five. He did five, which usually isn't the case. And that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it the right way. Yeah. That's why you also need to learn. You also don't need to look at just one material when you're learning. I'm definitely sure there are probably people with more, abs, like that have this number of abs, but from all my studies, I haven't seen anyone. So I'm just going to stick with what I know for now. That has been helping me so that my brain doesn't get confused. Anyways, I'm going to try and make this a bit more detailed. So far we've gone from here to here, right? We've drawn gesturally, and now we're going to make it a bit more cleaner. Hello, Baker. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm just doing a study of the male torso from Bart Sears' book. I'm drawing powerful heroes, brutes and beeps. That's the name of the book. Yeah. So we're going to quickly now. Things are going to have to be a bit more cleaner. So we have the muscle here, sternocleidomastoid muscle here. These studies are very important if you're going to draw the human body. That's the neck. That's usually I call it the reverse Y because if you reverse it, it kind of looks like a Y. Um, and it connects to your sternum, your clavicle, and your the bottom of your ear. Right. So our clavicle extends all the way to this area, this part here. So now we have our traps, yeah, our trapezoid muscle. And then you can see that bone here, that collarbone over there, over there, and then it connects like this, right? Um, and it's like sitting on top, right? The deltoid is sitting on top of the pectoralis muscle because ideally the pectoralis muscle goes all the way here to our humerus bone, yeah, here like this. So our humerus bone, it sits atop our humerus bone like that. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. And pectoralis muscle usually has like three sides. That's what all this striation is about. It usually has like three sides: the upper, the middle, and then the bottom. I've forgotten the technical name for them, but you don't need them. But usually, just bear in mind that there are three. And you notice that like as he's drawing, he's not like connecting every single line, and that's why it looks solid. That's why it looks nice. It's called that's what's called line weight, using line weight, right? Because a real human body doesn't necessarily have outlines like this. Yeah, but we're just using outlines to get the form of the human body. So we have to use black and white. We have to use shadows. The two values we're indirectly using are black and white. Yeah, the most extreme of the two values. To add more form, we'll need to add more values, and that's what will make it look a bit more 3D and a bit more realistic. The amount of values you add and how well you actually make the form, how well you actually place the form, right, or like the value ranges is going to determine how realistic or how well what your drawing looks like. So yeah, that's sort of like the things that we're doing here. That's essentially what we're doing here, basically. So we're putting the chest muscles. Yeah, and that's looking good. And then lastly, we then have this part. So there are basically three parts. So like the one, two, and then three. Yeah. And usually anatomically it would look like this, like something like this. Yeah. That's how the muscle look like if you were to look at a real muscle. Um yeah. But let's just work with this. Let's just work with this. That is looking weird. It's probably because I'm positioning my head in a weird angle. Um, I'm trying to stretch so that I can speak directly to the phone, and it's affecting like my perspective of how I'm looking at the work. Let me move this a bit like this. That'll probably help. Yeah, now I'm seeing the mistake I made. I Yeah, this is that stuff I was always telling you guys about. The delto pectoral groove, this thing over here. And you'll see it in a lot of like artists when they walk. And the reason for this is, we have our collarbone over here like this, right? This is our collarbone, yeah. And then we also have like our humerus, our scapula, right, or back muscle. Let's put it something like that. We have our rib cage around here. Oh my goodness, I'm not doing a good job of this. We have our rib cage around here, right? And then we have our sternum over here like this, yeah. And then we have our rib cage like this, and then we have our humerus bone like this. This is not an exact replication of what I'm trying to draw, but essentially what I'm saying is that the the pectoralis muscle, right, it goes like this. It's connected to your sternum, yeah, and your clavicle as well, and it goes like this. It's it goes like this and creates sort of like a weird folding when your arm is in this sort of position. I can check it anatomically. Like whenever you're doing anatomy studies, you can check them in real life to see how the muscles look. And when the arm stretches, right, it then turns back to becoming like this. Yeah. Like if the arm is stretched, for instance, it'll turn back and become like this. But once it's in a normal position like this, it's stretched like this. But that doesn't necessarily affect this because I'm talking about this space over here, no, not that space, this one over here. You see what I'm talking about in a moment. Un momento. Tranquilo, tranquilo. Calm down. I'll get to it. Yeah. So we have our pecs, right? Our pectoralis muscle, right? Like this. Then we have our deltoid muscle that connects, right? It's over our humerus muscle and everything. It connects to the part of the clavicle, right? And it's overlapping. Yeah, it's overlapping our pectoralis muscle, right? And that is where we get this little triangle over here. And that is why we have something like this on our body. We have this over here. Because of the overlap, there is a little space, a little gap, a little bump, yeah, a little bump in that area. And essentially that's what's going on there. Yo, undo man, and that should go away. Yeah, let's get back to what we're drawing. Just had to explain that for at least probably one person. Maybe it helps one person. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, that's it with the for the pectoralis muscle and the deltoid. Yeah, so we have this, and then we're going to place our abs. One, two, three, four. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, this one is usually like the longest. Yeah, and then we have our abs. The next part is the external obliques, um, which is basically the space between the serratus and the rectus abdominis, or like the abs. Right? So remember this guy over here. So the reason why you usually see this like this is because they do play on shadow. If you were to look at a real muscular person, yeah, let's look at our 3D model. Look at a muscular guy like this, and then you were to see the size of his muscles, right? Look at the size of his muscle. Yeah. You can see on the sides, he's not so lean as like bodybuilder lean, but he's fit. Yeah. You can see shadows beneath those areas of the muscle. Yeah, so that's essentially what the line is doing. The areas with the thickest line are representing the like the shadows, right? And is that shadow, those culmination of those different shadows is what we're actually using to get the shape of the character. Please, if you're just joining, please leave a like on the video. I appreciate it. Yeah, so yeah, that's what's going on. That's what we're doing, and let's put the obliques. Mm, 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 mm. And then we have yeah. So all this area all the way up to here is our external obliques. Yeah, and our external obliques is overlapped by our serratus anterior, which is that guy over there, and our serratus anterior is overlapped by our latissimus dorsi. So sorry I'm a bit slow, but I just have to explain it so that you understand the gist of what I'm talking about. Anyways, that's it for that. I don't think I'll refine it any more than this. I think that'll just be a waste of time. Yeah, that'll just be a waste of time. All right, so what's the next thing? He then did some, quick references or quick drawings, where he's illustrating. He did like three male torso drawings in different angles, where this is a bit twisted, um, and this one is still a front view, and then this one is like a bit of a three-quarter angle. This guy over here, this first one. Um, so so that's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying here. Like I hadn't even read this, but that's what he's saying. He said, check out the three male torso pictured here. More of the same regarding finishing. The muscles aren't outlined. The use of the light implies the form. Heavy shadows thinning to a point gives the individual forms shape, and consistent use of light meshes the smaller forms into the whole shape. In this case, the torso. The use of light here is basic. A strong overhead light, great at defining form simply. So that is essentially what he's doing here. So um, that's why I talk about lighting a lot. Depending on where the light is placed, like if you were to look at this 3D model, for instance, now, I was using this for like when I was working on my comic, right? If I decide to change the light's direction, you can see how the light is changing, right? I could move the light from left to right, right to left. And depending on the light's direction, he's using a simple overhead light. So something simple like this. Yeah. So depending on the light's direction is going to affect it's going to affect the uh, depending on the light direction, it's going to affect the look of the pose. So what he's doing is that you see these areas with really thick lines. Yeah, that is sort of what he's using. That's where you're supposed to put like the outlines, right? That's where you're supposed to put the outlines. So if I were to pick a shadow, I'd probably do something like this and like just put this area on that shadow and then fill it with black. Yeah, and I'll do that for the rest of the body. But if the light is coming from somewhere else, or like probably the side view, these areas would have less light and there will be probably more light on these areas of the muscle. And then I'd have to fill these areas um, with black, something like that. Yeah, so the light determines like the form that the whatever it is that you're looking at will take. Um, what's going on? Yeah, I'll put this here like that. Pro said, it's interesting how different languages have words that convey certain emotions or feelings that other languages can't. That's the power of vocabulary, I guess. Hmm. Yeah, that is the power of vocabulary. What are you talking about in relations to what exactly are you talking about, bro? Hmm. Yeah, but anyways, that's the first part. Let's see if we can do one more. But these studies are very important. So that's why, like, whenever I do studies like this, oh, just okay, you mean just in general? All right, bro, that's cool. Yeah, so whenever I do studies like this, what I would do personally is that I would draw everything here, right? So I would draw this guy over here. In fact, I'd ink it the way he did. Like, just look at this beautiful application of line weights. I really like that, man. I really like that. That's so it's tempting me to ink that. Yeah, but anyways, I'll draw everything here. I'll draw this guy over here. I'll draw this guy over here, and I'll draw this guy over here, right? The more I'm doing it, the more I'm getting familiar to this particular topic that he talked about. And this is a huge topic, especially if you're like a beginner or you're at an intermediate level, because having all this information in your head is not easy. Like even having all the muscles of the front torso is not easy. And then you have to deal with the back, right? You have to deal with the back and then you have to study it, right? So understanding, like, look, we're about to go to the side view, right? So understanding this is very important. And what I do is that I'd probably try and like if I like with this 3D tool, right? I could try and understand it from different angles. Yo. I'll try and understand it from different angles. So you're going to sort of like try and see how it looks in different shapes, in different angles, right? So things like this, and that is why I still rave a lot about simple shapes. So something like this now in this angle, I'd have to use. I still have to break it down using simple shapes because simple shapes is what's going to help me um like make break it down in a way that is not going to confuse me, right? So I'll do something like this. Yeah, remember perspective and all that. Um, and then break it down like this. So I'd have my muscles as well, right? And then I'd put my muscles like this. So with that, I'll be able to get the pose of what I'm looking for, as simple as that. And things like this is very important. It's very important as an artist. And when you're understanding the muscles that are going where, you won't be confused when it's time to draw something like this. Um, but make sure you use references so that you don't confuse yourself. Right. So with simple shapes, I've been able to, not confuse my brain with how complex a pose like this should look. Of course, I could go ahead and refine it, but that's not what I'm doing here. What I'm just saying is that I'm just trying to explain how we have a basic here, right? So we have a basic form here, and we are trying to interpret it in different angles, and you can use 3D for that study so that you can understand it. And when you are presented with it, you won't be bamboozled. Yeah. So what are we going to talk about next? Next, we're going to talk about the side view. Yeah, we're going to talk about the side view. I really like the shape. This is similar to what I was talking about with regards to um the neck when I was like on the, you know, and the head in general, like when I was explaining it. Yeah, I was talking about how there is like an S shape or reverse S shape, or like a flow or rhythm whenever you are looking at the side view of a human body. Yeah, regardless of how big your back is, usually a good human being, like if a healthy human being with decent back posture, usually their body and their back is like this. Not like this. This looks a bit more bent, but you get what I'm saying, right? So let's see what he's saying with regards to that. Um, oh my goodness, I need to increase that a bit. So he said, let's see. He said, when you are drawing a side view, keep in mind the slopes he has indicated over here. These slopes represent the spine, which is curved in everyone. Like if you were to look at a spine, the spine of like the human body, it's not straight. It's not like a straight line. It's not like this pencil. Yeah. It's not like this pencil. It's not straight like this pencil. It's curved. And that's why the human uh, muscle actually follows that pattern, right? The major muscles that give the human form, it's and the human rhythm. That is why it is like this, simply because of the spine and the bones and the understructure of the human body. Yeah. So the skeleton, that's what I mean. Yeah. The framework, the armature, the underlying framework of the human body. That's what gives it the muscle, because that's the base, and then you then apply like the muscles on top of that. All right. So this is a fun study to do. And let's try doing it. Let's try doing it. It looks fun. So one thing he didn't do with regards to this is that he didn't put this basic underlying shape, because that's actually that would have really helped. That would have really helped out, especially a complete beginner. That's why I say this book is not for like complete beginners. It's sort of like intermediate. Like if you are just getting better, or like you just need something like for quick exercises and quick practices, this book is your guy. All right. So what I would do personally is that I draw my cylinder like the one I have here. I like to go back to this because I really like this one for the rough sketches. Right. I like to go back to that. Right. And then put that here. So you can see this basic underline shape is representing both the front and both the side, and it's also going to represent the back. Yeah. Line your shapes, very important. Anyways, I'm trying to adjust it a little bit because I made a mistake. It's not supposed to be straight. It's supposed to be bent a bit. Yeah, so the next thing is the shape that you're going to. Let me reduce this. So we're going to have this shape over here like this. Yeah, so essentially this shape over here, we're going to have it here. And then we're going to have this pelvis over here. So a curve of our spine is going to be like this. Going to be like this. Yeah. So that's the slope. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take it to this like bubbly phase. Um, all right. So let's add some detail. All right. So same muscles that we added before. Sternocleidomastoid. The traps. Apparently, he just switched it to. He divided it into two compartments over here, like this. Remember, we're still working with this base over here, this cube, right? The box, or for you, it could be a circle or sphere, depending on what is suitable to you. And then, based on the perspective, yeah, we're going to have to add. I forgot to add the arm, which is supposed to be around here, like this. And because of the position of the arm, the deltoid muscle, I mean, is going to be overlapping like this. So you're not going to see every single part of the muscle of the chest. And the reason why it has these three bubbles, bubbly looking shape, is because we have the front delt, the side delt, and the rear delt. Yeah, front, side, and back delt muscles. Right. So collarbone like this. Yeah. And then we have our chest. And we have our chest. And then we have our abs, abdominal muscles. Right. Let me increase this a bit. And then some of our glutes, gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, gluteus minimus. All right, so abs stretching all the way here, goes all the way down here, like this, yeah? And then you're going to see this big muscle over here, that's our latissimus dorsi, yeah? That's our lats over here. And over here we have our teres major, and then we're going to see teres minor and infraspinatus, but we're not dealing with that muscle. We'll deal with it when we go to the back. And then, but these are lats essentially. These are lat muscles, this big guy over here. Some call this guy over here the infraspinatus, but usually it's also part of the lats because the lats stretches all the way down there. No, not infraspinatus. I'm talking about erector spina. Yeah, so yeah, like I said about the abs, yeah, goes all the way down here, and then usually there's another guy over here like this, yeah, before the lats, yeah, and that's the serratus anterior muscle. So he's just representing that with this. Yeah, it's more than that. Like it goes all the way to the chest and it connects to the rib cage and your scapula. Yeah, but these you can use three, you could use four, depending on what you want to use. Yeah, and yeah, we have our external obliques between that. With the transverse obliques beneath it. All right. So this is not perfect. This is not exactly what he did, but this is a good this is a good base or good study to do. Dealing with a really barrel chested looking person. Anyways, we're going to fix this. Yeah. What he did here. So we have our muscle, one, two, three, and then four. Right. These are four rectus abdominal. Rectus simply means straight. Yeah, rectus means straight. Like so, it's a straight muscle located at the abdominal region. It's the same thing when we are looking at the quad muscles. Like if we're looking at the legs, yeah, we're using this shape for the legs, and we're looking at the front view of the leg. We have our rectus femoris muscle over here. This guy. So it's called rectus because it's straight, yeah, and it's in the middle, and it's called femoris because it's located at the femur bone, right? If you look at the bone, like it's located at the femoral region. Yeah, same way we have our vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, our muscle. So all these names, there's a reason why they're called that. You don't need to memorize all of them. You just need to understand why they are called that, so that you won't get confused when you're studying. Yeah, so that like if you see another artist that is making all this kind of drawings like that you want to study, like if you're looking at a book, just look at anatomical, like real life anatomical diagrams, so that you just don't get confused, is what I'm trying to say. Because I did get a bit confused. Oh my goodness, that is a bunda behind him. Like, what is he carrying? Oh my god. Yeah, that looks better. Yo, his ass was like going all the way there. Oh, that bunda. Just for me. Anyways, I'm going to reduce this, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did here. I think that, yeah, I'm just going to reduce that and do what I did there. So this is going to guide me. Oh my goodness. Where's the undo, man? I cham. Yeah, undo. Yeah. My goodness. I really love that pencil. I really love that pencil. Makes me want to draw traditionally. Yeah, anyways, so let's get back to this. Yeah, let's get back to this. So we've done this, we've done the basic underlying structure and the simple shape. So now we're going to work on this. Um, so we have our sternocleidomastoid muscle, right? Yeah, and then just have this little guy over here. No, it's actually like this. Yeah, and then we have our traps, which actually connects all the way to the back of our neck. If you just touch your head, like, and you just go like down the back of your head, you're going to feel like two muscles like this. They're kind of like this. Yeah, everybody has them, right? They're connected like this. That's how the muscles look. Yeah, most people call it the butterfly muscle, because sometimes they look like this. Yeah, that looks like a butterfly, I guess. Yeah, and that would be our deltoid. So, and that would be like the rest of the neck. So you see why they call it the butterfly muscle? Yeah, that's why. And then we have our lats over here like this. Yeah, butterfly muscle. If you don't remember trapezoid muscle, I don't remember traps. Remember a butterfly, man. Anybody remember Hiro Nakamura from Heroes? I am looking for flying man. Yeah, so yeah, that's the traps. Yo, and then the chest. Look at that chest, man. Yeah, and for women, it's actually the same thing. Yeah, it's just that, like for the women, depending on, well, the size of their boobs, yeah, it could be sitting directly on top of one of the abs, like rectus abdominis muscle. If it's very big, it could be like like the grandmothers, right? The boobs could be going all the way down here like this, yeah, and could be covering virtually their entire torso and their stomach. But for like young people, it's very healthy and vibrant, and it's just something like this. So it's just like an extra fat that is just sitting on top. It's basically the same thing. Yeah. So I'll do like women for women later. I just like drawing abs, man. Yeah. So so yeah, let's draw the abs. One, two, three, four. Yeah. If he wants to draw his own five, he can draw his own five. And our serratus anterior muscle. So that's essentially the gist that's going on there. Then you can use line weight to demarcate it or position it correctly. That's really nice. Noise. All right. Hopefully you guys got something from that. I'll come back tomorrow. I think it's been an hour. So I'm going to leave the stream now. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. Tomorrow I'm going to come back and do more studies on this. But this was a fun exercise. I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. I'll definitely come back tomorrow and continue with the stream and do another one. And so tomorrow we'll definitely do like the back. Look at that. Look at all that beautiful muscle at the back. Yeah. Yeah. So never forget the shape or like the curve. Um yeah, and that's it. That's it. That's it. And with this you can be able to you've drawn like a heroic looking heroic looking character or male character. We'll do heroic looking male character of the back tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully you guys learn a thing or two along the studies. This is a bit of a selfish study because I actually want to learn. They said uh, it was a nice study session. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. And thank you for staying around. Yeah, thank you for staying around. Thank you so much. And by the way, how's that like practice? Do you guys still go for practice now, like track practice? Or is the holidays like over? Is it like completely finished? How's track and field going? Track's been going well. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Have you guys done like what are you like focusing on specifically? I know I keep asking you this question, but I don't think I've gotten an answer. Like what part of the track events are you focusing on? Um are you focusing on like sprints or like long distance? Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. That's actually really cool. Dun, da, 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 da. Today we practice startups for sprint. Oh, all right, all right, all right. That's cool. That's cool. It seemed like you'll be good at at long distance, especially since you play midfield. You'll be really good at long distance. But I don't know, you might be skilled, you might be multi-talented. You might be talented in both or all of them. Really fun. That was good. Thing about these brushes. I'm like a joker in a deck of cards that only works for numbers. Still very valuable, but not the best. Yeah, 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 I get you. I get you. I don't know anything about like playing cards though. The only card that I know how to play is a game called What? Like, let me show you. It's a game called What? WHOT. Um, I think it's a less sophisticated card game. Um, yeah, that's the only card game I know how to play. We played it a lot as kids. Yeah, but like when I was younger, like I liked my favorite people like were attackers, like because they are the most valuable players, right? But like I have an appreciation for virtually all. I have more appreciation for all like parts of football. Every single football player, both the defense, the midfield, the attack. Um, but of course, scoring goals is the most difficult thing in football. So the attackers are seen as the most valuable. Yeah, what was I looking at? Uh, where at thou? Anyways, this is the book. You guys can. That's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a cool game. It's a cool game. This is the book. You guys can check it out for yourselves. It's a nice book. You can do like there are cool practices that you can do with them. Like look at the table of contents. Yeah, anatomy, torso, potato stack. That's going to be fun. I really like to do that. Hot babes, storytelling, thumbnails, body language. Yeah. So like this, it's gonna be a while till we're done with this book. Yeah. So once I'm done with it, I'll do like a YouTube video, probably explaining the entire book, or I might explain it section by section, depending on the section we actually finish. Yeah. So based on the book, yeah. So I'm going to talk about anatomy based on Bart Sears' book and what I've learned, and compare it to like what I learned before. Yeah. So if you're interested in anatomy, you can get this book, the PDF. Really fun, really good. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Thank you all for being with me. Uh, I think these study sessions might be quite short. Um, it depends. It depends. We'll see. Thank you guys for staying up with me. I really appreciate it. See you guys. Yeah, see you, Pro. See you, Pro. It's nice to meet you. To see you again. It's been a while. I'm glad. I'm glad you came online. Thank you, man. And have a good night or good day.